When we read the Bible, we see many characters that had a close walk with God. We look at Abraham, Moses, David, the Apostle Paul, but the Bible doesn't always give us a whole bunch of detail of what their relationship with God looked like. And that's really why I wanted to do these interviews, to really give people a more detailed look at what this journey could look like. We look at a man like Enoch, and the Bible is extremely vague about him. It says he walked closely with God, faithfully with God, and God just took him. And it describes him as a friend of God.
Gosh, like, to me, that's the goal. I mean, the goal would be, I mean, genuinely walking with him, because we have this tendency is to think my relationship with God is God's way over there.
Yeah.
And I literally, and I have to fight this when I picture praying. I picture like me here,
Yeah.
and those like shots, like when you watch a movie, it starts in outer space and it kind of goes,
Yeah.
that's how I picture like prayer working. Like I'm way down here and God's way up there, and I'm trying to channel,
Yeah.
and I think it's fighting that mentality with prayer, to what you were just saying, is walking with God. And it's so funny you said that, because I literally just preached on that a few weeks ago when we talked about prayer, was that when we're walking with God, we don't even have to ask God, what do I do next? Who am I supposed to marry? Where am I supposed to go? When you're walking with him, you're literally feeling his constant nudge because he's with you.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to ask where to go, because you're walking with him as you go, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ultimate goal, is to not have just this generic relationship with God that I'm shouting out prayers and he's shouting them back, but yeah, walking with him. I think it's just such a great image.
Walking with God really speaks of the discipleship journey, where God leads us in becoming who we need to be. I think in a church context, we can love the community, we can enjoy the atmosphere, we can start walking with lots of people, but sometimes not so much with God.
Yeah, that was me. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. And I do, and I think, I shared with our staff this last week about this discipleship journey we're going on. And what's so funny is I don't even love the word discipleship, because it just means something to me because of the brand of that word from the last 20 years. It just means this little bitty classroom and a teacher up there, But like, when I gave this illustration, I said, when I talk about the Great Commission, I said the Great Commission doesn't say go into all the world and lead people to a decision to follow me,
Yeah.
make disciples, right? So I said, but the mentality that so many churches have had is, let's just get them saved. And like I said at the beginning, but I said what that would be like is Mandy being pregnant, her giving birth at the hospital, and looking at the baby going, we did it. We did it. And you're like, good luck, bro. Fist bumping the baby and walking out.
Yeah.
And delegating the growth of that baby to someone I barely know.
Mhm.
And hopefully that turns out okay. And I think that's by and large what the church has done for the last 20, 30 years.
I love that analogy. As Christians, we have to mature. The church will be stronger for it. The kingdom will be stronger for it. Obviously, we will be stronger as well. I know that many people are trying to have a relationship with God, but I also know that many people are struggling with this. What would you say to people to help them along the journey?
This is a journey that is going to look different than you more different than you can possibly imagine right now.
Mm.
And where I point new believers that are discouraged is to Peter, because Peter's whole walk with Jesus, while he was literally walking with Jesus, was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I think some people walk away and get so frustrated and get so disappointed and depressed in their relationship with God because they feel like it's only going to do this. It's only an up climb. But our relationship with God, because we live in this world, will probably mirror more of that of Peter than anybody else in Scripture.
Yeah.
And to be prepared for that, because Peter had ups and downs. He had a renaming process, a rebranding process by Jesus, which took time. Jesus said, you are the rock, but he didn't mirror a rock. He didn't look like a rock. He didn't act like a rock. He had doubt. He walked away from Jesus. He had those desert moments, those I don't know what's going on moments. So just where people can get a very real, I would say, get a realistic picture of what this is going to look like. It's better than you can possibly imagine, but it's still a journey, and you still live in this world. And Jesus is better, grace is better and bigger than you can possibly imagine. But you're still going to have days where you feel alone, and you're still going to have days where you have a fight. But that's what the beauty of the church is you don't have to do it alone. I think just giving people such a realistic picture of this, and they're not surprised by doubt and discouragement. And that's why I point people to Peter, because Peter's Peter.
Yeah.
He's Peter.
Yeah.
And why would I have a better experience than Peter when he literally walked with Jesus and he was the rock that the church was going to be built on.
Yeah, yeah,
Why would my experience be any different? You know?
yeah,
So I think realistic expectations is going to be huge. You know, one thing I was just thinking about a second ago, a key to my relationship with God is although it looks different every day, it's every day.
yeah,
I had to discipline myself. I don't take a day off.
yeah,
I think that's a big component too, is you have to cross the line and decide this is more important. I mean, I do exercise and I work out, but this
mhm,
is more important than that. This
yeah,
is the most important thing. I think that's another thing that definitely people should know is you've got to draw the line somewhere and
yeah,
say this is a. It's not a diet because you go on a diet and you're going to go back, right?
yeah,
Everybody's saying now it's got to be a lifestyle change with food,
yeah,
and it's a lifestyle change with this too. You can't go on a spiritual diet and say I'm going to binge
mm,
God. It's got to be drawing a line in the sand and crossing over. That's another thing. But that's a
yeah,
huge part of my story is it's every day and it's before I take my kids to school. It's every single day.
I couldn't agree more. I don't think anything can replace prioritizing God. I think if it's important to us, we will prioritize it. Pastor Dustin, thank you so much for sharing, for being vulnerable. I know this is going to help so many people.